It is my pleasure to welcome a returning guest back to the show, and that is Dana Dunford with Hemlane. We're always looking for great technologies to make life easier and to manage our properties better and just be more successful as real estate investors. Dana, welcome back.
Great. Thanks so much for having me again, Jason.
It's good to have you. And you've got a special offer for our people today, so stick around for that. You get a nice discount. But if you want to just give us the overall concept of Hemlane, what it does, what problems it solves, and then let's go into an actual demo where we'll share your screen for those watching on video and really review the software.
Great, thanks. Just to reiterate, my name's Dana with Hemlane. We are a property management platform that helps you stay in the driver's seat with your rental properties. So you can be anywhere in the world and manage your US rental properties from there. Just to before we jump into the demo, talk a little bit about what Hemlane does and the value of it. There were basically two trends that Jason, before you and I spoke, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, that I really saw as prevalent that we're going to continue in the industry. And one was remote or out-of-state investing. In other words, not investing in your backyard. And part of that has to do with technology as well as just opportunity. It's just like stocks and bonds. The best investments may not be in your backyard. And then the second thing that we really saw as a trend that would continue was 72% of rental properties are self-managed today. And that's from the Census Bureau. And that hasn't changed. In other words, it's not like more people are flocking to say of the small mom and pops, hey, I'm going to go ahead and get a full service property manager. Most were still self-managing, but we're complaining about it. And so really when we started Hemlane 5 years ago, it was really with this concept that today in the industry, only two things exist, all or none. Like do it yourself, you do everything yourself, or you hire a full service manager. And most folks that I would talk to would say, hey, I kind of fall somewhere in the middle. Like I really want to be doing the rent collection, but I don't want to be doing the repair coordination. And so we built Hemlane as a plug and play model where it starts with software, but we also have services and a community for you to connect with of licensed agents to help you with your property management. So with that, Jason, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get started. How does that sound?
Sounds good. And, we really recommend self-management. It's been great for a lot of our clients. I discovered it by accident about 14 years ago when one of my property managers retired and I didn't hire a new one. And the first of the month rolled around and the tenant sent me a nice note with a check and said, the property manager said he's getting out of the business and told me to send the checks to you. And what was funny, Dana, is the tenant said, let me know if you need anything. Here's my contact info, right? And I thought, well, that's a different perspective. If I need anything from them,
Yeah.
Usually it's the other way around. And what I found, and this is a property I've never seen in my life. I still own it, actually. I've never seen it. And, I've owned it for probably 16 years now and, had tenants there, self-managed tenants. It's really amazing. Your tenants actually do a lot of the work for you because, if you think about it, when there is a repair or maintenance issue, the property manager has no way of knowing that. The tenant is the one who always reports it, right?
Yep.
But what I find with self-management is a lot of times the tenant will just fix it themselves, or they'll just call a handyman or whatever and get it fixed, or they'll even call and get you a bunch of quotes. I mean, it's great, and make a recommendation. So really recommend self-management. It's pretty great.
Yeah, definitely. No, and we've definitely seen that. I mean, tenants are your customers, and so you treat them well, and they definitely treat you well, especially if you've done the screening in advance with them.
And we all hear of tenant horror stories, but most tenants are just good people that want a home. No big deal, right? They're just good people.
Yeah, exactly. Our experience has been that as well, especially with like our repair coordination team. There are some incredible tenants out there that are like, hey, I just wanted to tell you about this. And, they really stay on top of things because it's their home too, right? They do care about their home.
Yeah.
Just kind of at a high level, you don't have to log in for anything. We'll send you email or text alerts if there's an action that you need to take. Just so everyone knows, you don't have to log into a portal every day. But we'll have things to do here of like recommendations of what you should be doing next. Like you have vacancies, you need to start and advertise your property. You have tenants moving in, need to fill out a move-in guide, whatever it may be, we'll have a list of these things. So it starts with advertising. We'll advertise your property to over 30 rental listing websites. That is everything from, and I can just go in here and see all of these websites it will list on. You can click on the links and go ahead and view what it looks like. You can go up here, and then we send all of the tenants who are interested in your property to this page. They can schedule a showing. They can go start the application. You'll review it before they do a background and credit check, or they can ask you a question. And so this basically is through our software. Anything that goes to third-party websites like Zumper or Zillow or Trulia, any tenant who inquires on those websites will automatically be ported into here under prospective tenants. And so basically you can go ahead and see what needs to happen next. In this case, we'll say finish lease. If they're in the qualification steps, they'll fill out the application, the background and credit check. We'll make recommendations whether to accept or deny the tenant based on the data in the system. And so it's a all-in-one place for you to basically manage your tenants and know what your next steps are. Then we have tenants and leases. This is where you would communicate with your tenants. Most tenants communicate via text message. So if you message your tenants, it will be a text message. The benefit of this, and I could just go to like one of the tenants in here at one of the properties. The benefits of this is that they're not calling your personal phone number and going through that. And then under financials, you can send money, request money. You can set up recurring rent. Tenants can put it on automatic payment, but you can basically see balance due and all the information in here of who's paying rent and how much. We'll send the reminders and the tenants pay directly online. Everything, including late fees, goes to you. So Jason, as you know, with property manager, typically they would accept and collect that late fee. This actually goes 100% to the owner. And then we have a report section, so you can see your net cash flow, your income statement, your lease ledger. All of this stuff is like actually not the exciting part about Hemlane. So I'm about to dive into what actually makes Hemlane so different. The first is our agents. So under your team, you may be in Florida, like where you are, Jason, right now, but you need a leasing agent for your property. Let's just say your property is somewhere in Texas. We connect you with leasing agents across the nation. So these are licensed agents who help find and place a tenant. They do all of that turnover coordination. They project manage it under our maintenance and repair tab. And then they also help with the placement of the tenant. So they do the showings, they help walk through the background and credit check, all of that in the system. And so from that perspective, you will have is someone that is local who's boots on the ground if you need them. The property's down the street, no problem. You probably don't need that. But if you do want to be a little bit more passive in some of these things of showing up to the property, we have that capability. And so you can basically put a property on here anywhere in the US and then get different folks to help you who are local with it. The other cool thing that we have is 24/7 repair coordination. So if I go here, these are requests that are open, but if I go into instructions here, I can basically go through for any property and put thresholds in here. At what point do I want Hemlane's 24/7 repair coordination team to call me? And then dispatch preferences. So I could say for electrical work, I have an electrician I love, but if they're not available, go ahead through your network and call someone out. And then I can go down here and I can put in billing contact if you want us to do the payments on your behalf, as well as access points, tenant responsibilities, basically filling out all of this information here so we know who's going to do what. The benefit of this is we're basically like your admin who really knows repair coordination. So our team knows how to troubleshoot. 7% of requests are automatically closed without ever sending out a service professional. And we can respond to the tenants and help them at 2 a.m. in the morning, 6 p.m. on a Sunday night. Okay. So you don't have to do anything. Go for it, so Jason.
Dana, I want to back up here a moment. I think we should have maybe touched on this more deeply earlier. Hemlane is not really just a piece of software, right? Like many others out there. And we've had many on the show that have demonstrated property management software. It provides a referral network for vendors?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Okay. And which type of vendors is it? Can you go down that list of what type of vendors it provides? You said leasing agents, and those are for what I endorse, which is my favorite way to do it when I self-manage and our clients self-manage, the a la carte property management right? Where they're just doing
Yes. Yep.
they do the tenant turn only, and you collect the rent every month. The rent goes directly to you. And guess what? A funny thing happens, Dana. You actually get all your rent. Because
Yes.
no one is skimming money off the top for fake repairs and stuff that doesn't need to be done. Somehow, when I self-manage, I just get all my money. When I
Yeah.
have a property manager, not so much.
Yeah, no, from that perspective, yes. And it's 100% transparent. So when you're using our leasing agents, you know what's going on because you can see the background and credit check in our system. You get like a daily summary of like, here's how many tenants were interested in your property. So if the leasing agent calls and says like, hey, we're going to have to reduce the price, like we're not getting enough bites on this, it's no surprise because you've been updated through the technology with that.
Okay, but who are these leasing agents? And are they everywhere in every town in America? I mean,
yeah, any MSA. So we have over 1,300 cities that we service. And actually you can see
and
that
just
here.
to answer the compared to what question, there's about 9,000 cities in America. Okay. So just
yeah, great. And so if you go into our locations here, you can look to see if we service your location. In some, we will have 3 or 4 leasing agents who are qualified through our qualification process. In others, we won't. What actually makes it different, Jason, than any other platform for like software plus this a la carte where you can pick and choose additional services and folks who can help you is that after, so Jason, let's just say you're one of our owners and you've gone through the process of having an agent find and place a tenant. We are going to tell you, hey, we're not going to tell that agent what you said, but how did you enjoy working with them? Were they responsive? Did they meet your expectations of getting a tenant in there who's qualified? All of that. And that is data that we have in our back end. So when the next owner in that town comes and says, hey, I'm looking for an agent, we have that information. And there's actually no other platform out there that's like a network of leasing agents of this a la carte. And that is exactly what we're building up for you. Because if you had an okay experience with an agent, you're probably not going to review them online.
Right.
And so you just don't have that data. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. That's great. And, we have a network of leasing agents at my real estate company informally, right? But it's not, we don't have 1,300 cities covered. We just know in the markets we work in, we can refer people. But this is great. Okay, keep going. So what other vendors though, Dana?
Yeah, so then the other is, so we have a 24/7 repair coordination team that's in-house that is an add-on, right? Where you can say, hey, I don't want to pick up the phone calls at 2 a.m. or 6 p.m. or anything on weekends.
Which, by the way, I just want to tell everybody I've never had that happen, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah, totally.
Everybody talks about the 3 a.m. call, but yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting if you set those expectations with a tenant of like, here are emergencies, like most often you won't get that 3 a.m. call, but it's setting those expectations because sometimes tenants think everything's an emergency. And so basically you think of us as your kind of back end office admins, but we actually know repair coordination and how to mitigate damage. And so if a tenant calls and says, hey, just as a heads up, I've got a huge active leak. Water is going everywhere. They're going to sit there on the phone and make sure that they know how to turn off the valve, make sure they've mitigated the risk, understand like at what point do we need to send someone out? Is it an emergency or can this wait? Go ahead and do that. So we basically have a network and part of it comes from actually our agents. They help build it up if you're on that package. And we'll also have your own service professional. So you can go in here and add your own plumber, anyone you want to work with, we can work with them. And then essentially when a repair request comes in, let me just show it to you so you can see it. So here's like an electrical one. What you'll see here is the repair coordinator will be assigned to someone on our team and it will have our person's phone like name here and then our phone number, but you have 100% transparency into it. So Jason, you as the owner could jump in here and hide from the tenants and say, hey, I know exactly what's going on. I'd like it handled this way. Or you could say, hey, I want to take it over. I've got it. Super simple. Or like, hey, can you guys go ahead and call and coordinate Two Brothers Electrical, get this set up.
So you've got your staff actually that works for your company, right? That coordinates this
in-house.
stuff.
Correct.
And then you've got a network of vendors.
That is correct. So anything that's considered a repair, we will have a network for in certain cities. So we will tell you if we do not have a vendor network there, and it comes through our agents that we work with who are our partners, sort of like your real estate firm has. And it comes through other partners of ours, like Ace Handyman Services is a partner of ours. So we have different contractors and networks we work with to build up that list. If we don't have someone in your area, you can still use our repair coordinators, but you have to bring all your own service professionals in.
Okay.
And so it depends on the location from that perspective. But the benefit of this is that you have someone who's available. So Jason, you can go on vacation and turn your phone off and say, okay, great. I just need to make sure I have on the instruction side, repair thresholds that make sense. Things we don't do, Jason, because that's probably the most important thing, is we don't do any CapEx stuff. So if it's like general contracting, like major repair, renovation.
You won't do, you don't have like roof replacement people, that type of stuff, right?
Exactly. We'll do a roof repair, but the second there's a replacement, we're going to have the owner step in, and in part because we focus on what we can do really well.
Yeah, and I'll just tell you something that might actually be better, because what I've noticed is whenever you call a roofer, last year I did 4 roofs on properties I own. Whenever you call a roofer, they always say you need a new roof. But if you call a repair person, they'd probably just repair it. And you probably had 5 years left on that roof, just for the record. But,
definitely. And our team is good at advising on that as well, of like, hey, here's how much it costs to repair, but like based on how long you've had this washing machine or whatever it is, you might just want to get it replaced. They're pretty good at making that transparent. So you make all the decisions. We don't make any of those decisions. We're just there to help you to make it a bit more passive for you with your real estate.
Okay, great. Let's keep going. We covered the repair stuff, so keep on going.
Yeah, great. So then this is the repair stuff. And so you can see the work orders, all invoices are transparent. You can also do billing through our system. And so you would actually see it also under your financials, under the category of maintenance and repair down here. And let me just get to it here. You would also see all those repair bills, invoices. So when it comes time with your accountants, you could just go ahead and download all your receipts and payments, or you could just give them access here to see all the reporting for your accountant for the reporting at the end of the year. So that's a very quick summary. It's all 100% mobile friendly, so you can take it with you as you go. You can see like this, I'll do it quickly, where you can see everything's mobile friendly. And then up here, banks and cards, as you grow your portfolio, you can have different ones. So each LLC can have a different bank account. And you can also have portfolios. So you could basically put properties together and say, here's my Scottsdale portfolio, here's my Houston portfolio, and have
here's my Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, got it. Okay.
Yep.
Good.
And then from that perspective, as far as pricing with it, what we found is that every real estate investor is different. When people say like, what package should I get? It's really what's right for you. It's more so about you than your property, I found. Some people prefer to be hands-on and want to do all the repair coordination and give their tenants their phone number for it. Others say, hey, I want to take more of a back seat, but I still want to self-manage and be in the seat of control. And so from that perspective, we have different pricing packages, and this will be actually directly on your page as well, Jason, but you can go through and calculate out based on the number of units you have, what package you want and how much that would cost. And so we have one that's just software only. This is background and credit checks. This is basically software only. Then we have 24/7 repair coordination, but with your service professionals. And then the complete package, which is this $32 per unit, is basically to get access to a leasing agent within our network, as well as to get access to our vendor network, and we'll help do the payments for you.
Okay, so no leasing agents for $64 a month. For $12 per unit, it's $32 per unit to have a leasing agent.
Yeah, and in this one here under the essential package, you could bring in a leasing agent if you want, but it just wouldn't be through our network. So you could go into, and let me just sign back in here. You could basically go into here and just under your team, add your own agent as a user, and then set it up where they have leasing only permission. So I could go here and just say like, John leasing, and then I could say leasing@example.com. And when I add John into here, it's going to ask which properties I want to add him to. Maybe I want to add him to these ones, then next. And then I could just give leasing only permission, where he can request payments from tenants, but it would have to route directly to your bank account.
Okay. So Dana, what about rent collection through the platform? And by the way, you better split Melinda Gates and Bill Gates up there. They're divorcing, you know.
I know.
That's what her sample says, folks, on the screen.
You know what is interesting that you can do is under tenants and leases, I can, with the click of a button, move them into 2 different units. So you can do that through Hemlane.
Funny. Okay. So rent collection, how does that work through the platform?
Yep. So your tasks will make it super easy to set up your rent collection. You just click a button and go. But it basically, I'll show it here from under financial. So when I click request money, I can just go ahead and select what property it is. And I can say, great, it's from my tenant. Maybe it's Tracy and it's going to me. And I can choose the bank account. And then here I just select the rent category. It's going to automatically populate anything that I have in there. I can say it's recurring. It's starting March 1st, upcoming. And then I can say cancel upon move out. I can allow partial payments. We put all these risks things in here about like why you shouldn't do certain things. Then you can automatically include the late fees. If they're in your lease, they will automatically populate. You can do one time daily. And then you just go like that, and then you can just click next and click request, and you're all set to go.
Okay, so that sends them an invoice, but
yep.
I don't know that we want to get in the habit of sending an invoice. The rent is due if it's the first of the month. You don't need an invoice. So this is a handy feature, especially if there's a late fee or something else on there, you know. But what if they just want to pay the rent automatically? You don't have to send an invoice every month, do you?
No, so this sends them, just sets up and tracks it in our system. The tenants in their portal will get something that says go in to start paying. And so every single month they can just set up automatic payment in the system, and it will go directly from their bank account to your bank account in the system. And that way they don't have to go in every month to pay. They will just be automatic, or they could log in every month and press the pay button if they want.
Okay, and what payment methods work in your system?
Yeah, so it's bank transfer, ACH, which is bank to bank transfer, safest way to do it. The other way that you could offer is debit or credit card. We say in this case, it says not allowed because I didn't enable that in this particular case. You could allow it in the system. However,
what's the fee for that?
It's 3% fee. And also it comes with, our warning is always that the credit and debit cards are much easier for tenants to dispute. We're obviously on your side, but it's either MasterCard, Visa, Amex, whoever the provider is who decides who wins. And so, yeah, ACH is the safest way to go, which there's no transaction fee in our system.
Okay, so the tenant, it puts 3% on top of the rent if they want as the convenience fee for that?
Exactly, that's correct. And that's very transparent to the tenants and says, if you want to do ACH, it's free. If you want to pay debit credit, it's 3%.
Okay, got it. Okay, what else do you want us to know?
Yeah, I think that, a couple of things. One, it's super flexible. You can build your team. You can add your significant other or anything like that. If there's anything offline, you could like record a payment that's just made offline. You can add receipts or anything like that just here under the downloads. So it's a super robust platform, but it also has with that flexibility for you to kind of mold it into what you want. But it's also very simple, as the left-hand side will tell you exactly what you need to do next.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So wrap it up for us. I mean, here's what I'd like to know, Dana, and I think our listeners would too. What are the Hemlane revenue streams? And the reason I ask that, and of course you don't have to answer the question, but
yeah,
are all of those people in your network, the leasing agents, the repair people, are they paying Hemlane as well?
No. We don't upcharge on any repairs or leasing agents, and 100% of what they charge, they get. And there's actually a reason for that. If we were to do that, we're incentivized to work with the people who give us like the highest commission or fee rather than the best. We don't, from that perspective, we're interested in building the best network, not the one that's going to pay us.
That's the same philosophy I have. And, our property managers over the years in my real estate company have offered to give us money, and I'm like, I don't want it. Don't, just do a good job for the clients, give them a good price, and we don't want your money. Okay, it just sort of contaminates the thing. So good, that's great. Anything else you want people to know?
I think the biggest thing is also support from that perspective. Like, you'll have an onboarding rep to like help you get set up with Hemlane and be successful. And if your tenants call us, they call the same line you call for tech support. We want them to know that, like, hey, if they have questions of how to use Hemlane, how to set up their rent, they're just as important to us as you are. And I think that's a huge differentiator compared to others in the market. Not only do we have the differentiation with leasing agents and 24/7 repair coordination that we make sure they ensure the quality on, but on top of that, we also have a team there to support your tenants.
Okay, good stuff. Well, thank you so much. And we have a special link to get the special discount and the 1 month free trial. And that is jasonhartman.com/Hemlane, jasonhartman.com/Hemlane. And you'll get the 1 month free and the free trial and the discount as well. So go check that out. And Dana, thanks for joining us.
Great. Thanks so much, Jason, for having me.